Good morning. My name is Dave Flanaghan. I'm here to introduce you to UTC Power. UTC Power is part of United Technologies Corporation. United Technologies is a Fortune 50 corporation, and last year our sales were over $52 billion. Most people think of United Technologies as being an aerospace company, but many are surprised that 60% of our sales are due to business technologies. United Technologies is made up of 7 divisions. Some of the names would be familiar to you: Otis Elevator, Carrier Air Conditioner, Fire and Security, Sikorsky Helicopter, Pratt & Whitney Engines, and a newest division is called UTC Aerospace, which was recently created when UTC purchased Goodrich Aerospace and combined it with Hamilton Sundstrand. We also have a centralized research center where the research is done for the corporation and then distributed to the divisions for commercialization. Our company is UTC Power, and we are the smallest of the 7 divisions. So UTC Power is also located, like Fuel Cell Energy, it's also located in Connecticut. We're in South Windsor. We're about halfway between New York City and Boston. We've been developing fuel cells for over 50 years. We have approximately 400 employees. Half of those employees are scientists, engineers, and technicians, and the other half are production workers, field support, and also they work in the support groups. We also have 1,000 patents either issued or pending and to have in our portfolio. Our business is broken into 3 areas. We work in stationary fuel cells, we work in transportation fuel cells, and then we also work in space and defense. This slide is a timeline of our 50-year history. Our company got its start in 1958 developing fuel cells for NASA. We're proud that our fuel cells have been on every U.S. manned space mission since the Apollo program. In the 90s, we developed a 200 kilowatt fuel cell system called the PureCell 200. That's a unit that works on natural gas and provides electricity directly to buildings. And then about 6 years ago, we took our next step where we developed a second generation product called the PureCell 400, which is a 400 kilowatt product, but it has a 20-year product life and a 10-year stack life, which is twice the life of the PureCell 200. In 1998, we started to work in PEM. So we started working with many of the world's leading auto companies. We've worked with BMW, Nissan, and Hyundai, and a number of others. And at that time, we also started developing fuel cells for buses. So I'd like to talk a little bit about our PureCell 400 stationary power plant. What makes the PureCell 400 a good value proposition? One is its productivity. If all the electrical power and heat produced by the unit is used, it is extremely productive. And we also offer energy security. Because energy is produced on site at the building, if there's a problem with the grid, the building is unaffected. And then also our product is very energy responsible. It produces very low emissions, and it's also very neighborhood responsible because unlike diesel generators, fuel cells are very quiet. So on this slide, I'd like to talk a little bit about comparing combined cooling and heating to a fuel cell. Grid power originates at a centralized facility, and it's powered by a number of different sources. But due to heat losses and transmission losses, only 30% actually make it to the user. However, our fuel cell is very energy effective and delivers 3 times the energy to the user. In addition, our unit produces electricity, but it also provides heat that could be used for heating the building, and then if it's combined with an absorption chiller, it can be used for cooling purposes. In addition to providing on-site power and heat at the building, our unit has no CO, no SOx, no NOx. This last slide is a comparison of PureCell to some of the clean technologies. The green is the fuel cell, yellow is solar, and the blue is wind. And you can see that this chart was made on providing 400 kilowatts of energy in New England, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for an entire year. So you can see from this chart that a fuel cell is available 95% of the time. But solar is only available 17% of the time. Because of nights and cloudy days, solar energy is not a solution in New England. Surprisingly, wind is also available to provide full power 25% of the time. So really, a fuel cell is ideal in a location like New England. The next part of this slide is annual CO2 reductions. So actually, this slide's kind of inverted here. The number of trees actually is a better performance. So with the higher number of trees on this slide, it means a greater CO2 reduction. So what we've done is we've looked at all these three technologies and compared them to a fossil fuel power plant. And then the fossil fuel power plant fills the gap to reach 100%. So with the fuel cell, the savings is 970,000 kilograms per year compared to a coal-fired or a fossil fuel powered power plant. But solar requires has an 83% gap. So a fossil fuel power plant is providing power 83% of the time. So it has a much less reduction in CO2. And similarly with wind, it only provides power 25%, full power 25% of the time. So it provides almost half the amount of CO2 reduction as a fuel cell does. The other thing is the fuel cell system is a lot more compact. Solar system will need 50 times the space in order for it to install the panels. Surprisingly, wind needs 100 times the amount of space because there needs to be a clearance for the blades. So the next slide here goes over how the PureCell 400 works. Basically, it has three sections. The first section is a natural gas converter. It's a fuel processor which takes natural gas and converts it into hydrogen fuel for our second section, which is the fuel cell stack. Fuel cell stack produces DC power that then goes into the third section, which is called the power conditioner, which gives you AC power. During this process, heat is made, and then if that heat is recovered and used by the building, it makes this unit very, very efficient. So here are some of the markets served. The key markets are markets that need both electricity and heat. So typical markets fitting this profile are utilities, supermarkets, hospitals, hotels, and educational institutions. This next slide shows some of our customers buying our stationary fuel cell. We've been doing this for over 20 years, and we have over 10 million hours of experience. So we've been doing this for a long, long time. So I won't go over all these customers, but I'd like to point out a few. We've sold 12 units to Samsung. We've sold 14 to SK Oil. We've sold 6 to CBS. We sold multiple units to Coca-Cola. We sold many units to grocery stores like Whole Foods, Price Chopper, Stop and Shop, and Super Value. And we've also sold a number of units to schools like the University of Connecticut, Rochester Institute of Technology, Eastern Connecticut University, and New Haven Public Schools. So now I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the installations. There are various installations. They can be installed outdoors, like this unit at the University of Connecticut, or on a rooftop like this unit that's being installed at Star Supermarket in Massachusetts, or indoors. We have a unit here that was installed at a government building in New Haven. We also have units installed at the World Trade Center. Currently, we have 9 units operating at the Trade Center, and we have 3 more on the way. Another installation would be ganging multiple units together, similar to fuel cell energy. In this case, we have 12 units operating together at GS Power in South Korea. So, after we had the units installed, we monitor them. We provide a great deal of aftermarket service options for our customers. Sometimes our customers want to take care of the fuel cells themselves, which we allow them to do. And then we also offer a full support package for them. We continuously monitor all our fuel cells that are in the field by our centralized computer center. This allows us to be proactive and identify problems with fuel cells before they actually become issues. In some cases, we'll dispatch one of our technicians directly to the site, or some will contact the customer and have them perform the maintenance as necessary. This control center is very important to keeping our units available for the customers. I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about some of our transportation products. Now, I want to mention that these are not natural gas units like the stationary unit. Most of these are direct hydrogen or hydrogen derivatives. Our PUREMOTION 120 is for buses and for industrial vehicles. We've also do fuel cells for automobiles. We've delivered fuel cells as small as 5 kilowatts to BMW, as large as 80 kilowatts to companies like Hyundai, Kia, and others. And then we've also done fuel cells for the space program. Right now, with the shuttle program on hold, we're waiting for NASA to make its decision on the future of fuel cells in the space program in the U.S. And then we also do fuel cells for submarines. So now I'd like to talk a little bit about our fuel cell bus program. We have 16 buses with PUREMOTION systems operating in the United States. Fuel cell systems are powering buses in Oakland, California, Hartford, Connecticut, and in Flint, Michigan. And combined, these buses have over 1 million kilometers of experience. We also have a fleet leader that has 12,000 hours of operation without any repairs to the fuel cell stack. We believe this is a world record and at least twice as good as our closest competitor. This unit with 12,000 hours is not a one-off. It's not one unit. We're monitoring all our units. We have a second unit that has nearly 10,000 hours of operation, and when we have a third with almost 8,000 hours of operation. We monitor these units very closely, and their performance is tracking very closely to our 12,000 hour record holder. Our fuel cell in our buses are also very reliable, and they have a greater than 95% availability in revenue service. So I'd like to compare, this slide compares buses, diesel bus to fuel cell bus. In California at AC Transit, our fleet gets approximately 3.1 kilometers per liter on average. The buses in Connecticut get about 3.4 kilometers per liter on average. A diesel bus operating at these locations gets about 1.7 kilometers per liter on average. So you can see by these numbers that a fuel cell bus economy is twice as good as a diesel. If we're able to put 500 fuel cell buses on the road, we'd save about 19 million liters of diesel fuel per year. So I'd like to take a minute to talk about our next generation fuel cell. In order for for fuel cell buses to be commercialized, it's very important that the total cost has to be lowered. The cost reduction is not only would be done at the fuel cell level. It also needs to be done at the electric drivetrain, hydrogen storage, batteries, and those things. So what we're doing is we're developing a new product called the PUREMOTION 150. The PUREMOTION 150 would be designed for buses and for heavy-duty vehicles like the PUREMOTION 120. The PM 150 will have 20% more power than the PM 120. It will also have some other key advantages. It will be smaller, it will weigh less, it'll be have a smaller price, and then also will have a high reliability and a longer stack life. The PUREMOTION 150 is under development right now and should be available in the middle of 2014. So what we've done is, earlier this year, we were awarded a contract with several of our partners by the U.S. Federal Transportation Administration to put our PUREMOTION 150 into a bus. So what will happen is BAE will integrate a drivetrain system into a New Flyer bus. We will add our fuel cell, and then once that vehicle is functional, it'll be operated by Connecticut Transit, moving passengers in Hartford. This is my last slide, so I'd like to talk a little bit about some of our other fuel cell applications. As I said before, we work with some of the world's leading automotive companies to mainly develop technologies in order to commercialize fuel cells for automobiles. Many companies have said that they would like to commercialize fuel cell automobiles by 2015, so we're helping them in their journey to do that, especially technology development for low-cost catalysts. We're also working with some of the other auto companies that are trying to catch up to the leaders. We are developing a 300 kilowatt fuel cell for the Spanish Navy's new S-80 submarine. That will be a ethanol and oxygen fuel cell, and it'll be used to power the submarine, provide stealth capabilities and air-independent capabilities. We also work on a number of unmanned underwater vehicle programs and unmanned aerial vehicle programs. So thank you very much for your attention.